We all experience it every single day, but we almost never really think about it. I'm talking about the weather. But today, we're going to look at it from a totally different angle, not as forecasters, but as philosophers. Our guide for this is philosopher Benjamin Hale. His book, A Philosopher Looks at the Weather, just peels back all these layers on this incredible force that shapes our world and, yeah, our very lives. So let's start with something we can all relate to. I mean, think about it, right? The elevator, waiting in line for coffee, an awkward party. What's the one thing we can always fall back on? The weather. It's the ultimate small talk. But here's the funny thing, and Hale points this out. It's a conversation starter that almost never actually starts a conversation. It's more like, nice day out. Yep, might rain later. Uh-huh. And that's it. Conversation over before it even began. Okay, but what if right in the middle of that small talk, you just paused and asked a question that completely stops everyone in their tracks? A question so basic, but one we almost never ask. Wait, what is weather anyway? That's the rabbit hole we're diving down today. So, where do you even start with a question like that? First, let's just try to define this thing we talk about all the time, but can barely explain. The easy answer, of course, is just to list stuff, right? Rain, snow, sun, wind, we all get it. This is the basic weather we see out our window. Simple enough. Yeah, not so fast, because our planet gets weird. We're talking about things like fire tornadoes, massive catastrophic floods from melting glaciers, and yes, there are actual documented accounts of it literally raining frogs and fish. All of a sudden, that simple little list doesn't quite cut it, does it? And that's just here on Earth. If we look out into our solar system, the whole idea of weather gets blown wide open. Here, a crazy hurricane might have winds over 200 miles an hour. On Jupiter, that's just a breezy day, with winds easily hitting 250. We get rain made of water. Scientists think that on Neptune, it rains diamonds. So what on Earth, or off it, connects all these things? Okay, so a simple scientific definition is kind of falling apart. So maybe the answer isn't just about physics. Maybe it's in how we, as humans, have tried to make sense of it all through our stories, our cultures, and our language. Take the ancient Greeks. They had this word, kairos, and it meant two things at once. It meant weather, but it also meant time. Not like clock time, but the right time, the perfect opportune moment to act. So for them, a good wind wasn't just weather, it was the universe giving you a green light. And it makes total sense then that across so many cultures, the gods of weather were the head honchos. Zeus in Greece, Thor for the Norse, Indra in Hindu mythology, Chak for the Maya. These weren't just guys who controlled the weather. In a way, they were the weather, this raw, divine, completely untamable power. And from there, weather spills into all of our stories. It becomes this perfect tool for setting a mood. Think about a Shakespeare play where a storm rages right as the king is going mad. Or even just that classic opening line. It was a dark and stormy night. You don't need any more information. You already feel what the story is about. The weather is doing all the heavy lifting for the author. And we do this all the time, without even realizing it. We describe our friends as having a sunny disposition, or a boss with a stormy temper. When we get sick, we say we're feeling under the weather. We're literally using the language of the sky to describe what's going on inside our own bodies and minds. So, we've seen how weather gets into our heads. But what does it actually do in the real world? Well, its impact is just staggering. And Hale makes this huge idea really personal. He tells a story about waking up in 2013 to find his entire basement was basically a swimming pool. His personal disaster was just one small part of a massive flood in Boulder, Colorado that caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. It's a heck of a reminder that this abstract force has very real, very wet, and very expensive consequences. In his story, it's not an isolated incident. It's part of a huge accelerating trend. Look at the number of billion-dollar weather disasters in the U.S. Back in the 80s, you'd see maybe 2 a year. By 2020, that number had jumped to around 20. The scale of the impact is just growing like crazy. And what's really fascinating is how we even measure this stuff. Take the hurricane scale. Sure, it lists wind speeds, but look at the words we use for the categories. They're all about us. Devastating, extreme, catastrophic. A storm's power, even scientifically, is measured by what it does to our world. And this impact has, and this is no exaggeration, literally changed the course of history. Rain and mud bogged down Napoleon's army and helped defeat him at Waterloo. The entire D-Day invasion hinged on a tiny, incredibly risky window of good weather. And the decision to drop the atomic bomb on Nagasaki instead of the primary target, Kokura, that was because of cloud cover. Weather isn't just a backdrop to history, it's a major character. So weather shapes our planet, it shapes our history, but let's bring it all the way in. What about us as individuals? How does it actually get inside our heads and our bodies and influence who we are? You know that feeling when a sunny day just makes you feel better? Well, it's not just in your head, it's real, and it's documented. Long, dark winters can lead to things like seasonal affective disorder. A beautiful spring day can genuinely improve your mood and even help you think more clearly and creatively. Our internal world is completely tied to the atmosphere around us. Now, this leads to a really big and pretty controversial idea called environmental determinism. Basically, it's the theory that who we are, our personalities, our cultures, even our national identities, are all fundamentally shaped by the climate and weather we grow up in. Are people from colder places naturally more hardworking? Are people from sunny climates more relaxed? This theory says, yeah, probably. And this isn't some new idea. The ancient Greek physician Hippocrates, the father of medicine, was writing about this way back around 400 BC. He said that if you really want to understand a person's health, you have to start by understanding their environment, the seasons, the winds, everything. This idea that we are a product of our weather has been with us for a very, very long time. So it all comes down to this. The weather isn't just something that happens to us. It's not just the forecast. It's this powerful force that has shaped our myths, our language, our history, and our own minds. The weather isn't just outside of us. So the final question, the one to really think about, is how is it shaping you?